Hello Year 11, just some last minute advice for your Paper 2 exam tomorrow. So tomorrow you are going to be sitting Paper 2, which consists of two topics. That's the early Elizabethan England topic and superpower relations and Cold War. You will have 1 hour and 45 minutes to complete both topics. So you'll be given two booklets. The covers will look like the ones you can see on your screen. You can choose which order you complete them in, so you could start with Elizabeth or you could start with superpower relations in the Cold War, but try and split your time equally between the two booklets. You will not be told when you need to swap over. So it's your job to make sure that after about 52 minutes, you move on to the next booklet. So that's two booklets, 1 hour, 45 minutes to complete both of them. You can start with whichever topic you choose. Alongside both of your booklets, you'll be given a cover sheet which will explain what I've just explained, that you need to answer both booklets in 1 hour and 45 minutes. And it'll tell you that there's 64 marks available for both. It will tell you the marks for each question are shown in brackets, and it will remind you to read each question carefully before you start to answer it, and to divide your time equally. So I'm going to start by reminding you of the types of questions that are going to be coming up tomorrow and the sentence starters that you should use to answer those questions. So I'm going to go through Elizabeth first. So Elizabeth question 1 is worth 4 marks. So you should spend approximately 4 minutes answering that question. And it's a describe two key features of. So that means two parts of a particular part of the course. So you're going to start your answer with one feature of, whatever it might be in the question, was, and then you're going to write a sentence to support that feature, so a little bit more information about it. So on your screen you can see an example, describe two features of the Elizabethan religious settlement. One feature of the religious settlement was the Act of Supremacy. That would get you 1 mark, and then you follow that up with some more information. So this made Elizabeth Supreme Governor of the Church of England. That gets you your 2nd mark, and then you do the same for a second feature. So with this question, you're looking really for between 2 and 3 sentences per feature, and you're looking for 2 separate features. So 4 marks, 4 minutes. The second question that you'll have for your Elizabeth topic book is an explain why question. It's worth 12 marks. You should spend approximately 20 minutes answering this question. It's exactly the same style that you completed on your medicine paper. So you're going to start your answer with one reason why, using the words of the question in your answer. You're going to introduce your evidence with the words for example. That's where you get your AO1 key language in. And then you're going to write this meant that. And as soon as you write this meant that, you are starting to explain what or how that evidence links to your point. You're then going to introduce some more, another point. You're going to write also some more evidence, this meant that. You're going to try and repeat that 3 times so that you have 3 fully developed paragraphs. And if you can do that, you're going to get your 12 marks. Just to remind you with this style of question that the examiners give you 2 bullet points that you could write about. If you don't know what those bullet points mean, you don't have to use them. You're not going to lose marks for not using them. They'll just be there as hints, really, in case you want to use them. Then the final question for your Elizabeth paper is a how far do you agree question. And you will be given a choice of 2 questions. So you can choose which one you think you know most about. So I would always have a go at writing a little plan for both to see which one you know more about, which will help you decide which question you're going to answer. It's worth 16 marks, so you're going to spend about 28 minutes on it. Remember to take probably 5 minutes out of that just to do a little plan. So you're going to be looking at about 23 minutes to write up. So once you've read the question, you're going to underline it, you're going to annotate it, just like we've practiced in the class. And then you're going to draw yourself a little table to create a plan. And your table is going to have 2 columns, one column for agree, so evidence that you've got that agrees with the statement, and one column that disagrees, so evidence and information that you've got to disagree with the statement. And you're going to spend 5 minutes just filling that out, and what you'll have then is a plan for your actual answer. Then you're going to make a decision. Do you agree with the statement or do you disagree with the statement? And you're going to make that really, really clear in your opening sentence of your answer. So either it can be agreed that or it can be disagreed that. And exactly as you have with your explain whys, you're going to write for example. So you're going to bring in your facts. That this meant that. Also, this meant that. And that's one side. Then you're going to present the other side of the argument because you've got to have a balance here. So you're going to introduce that by writing on the other hand, and you're going to give the opposite view. And then you're going to finish off your answer by writing, despite this evidence, I still believe that because. So you're going to go back to your original judgment. So you've got your judgment, your evidence to support it, your on the other hand, so your opposite view, and then despite this evidence, I still believe that. So you go back to your original judgment because. And then you're going to move on to Cold War. So Cold War question 1 is explain 2 consequences of a particular event. It's worth 8 marks. You're going to spend approximately 10 minutes on it. And that'll be enough time to write 2 consequences. So 5 minutes on each consequence. When we think about a consequence, we're thinking about what happened because of a particular event. So you can have positive consequences and negative consequences. So the way that you would start your answer is by writing one consequence of whatever the event is in the question was. For example, so you're going to develop it, put in some more information. And then you're going to write this happened because, and then another consequence of whatever the event is in the question was, for example, this happened because. The second question in your Cold War paper is a narrative account. Now a narrative, if you remember, is just a story. In this case, we're analysing. So write a narrative account analysing a particular event or a particular time period. Now, when we're analysing, we are giving meaning to an event. So we are explaining what it led to and how that event developed over time. For this particular answer, you're going to aim for 3 sections. So the beginning of your story, the beginning of the event, the middle, and the end. It might be that you're given a time period. So for example, between 1968 and 69 or 45 to 47, or you could be given an event. So it might be that you're asked to write a narrative account analysing the events in Czechoslovakia in 1968. So you get 1 year. If the question gives you dates, so if it says, for example, write a narrative account analysing the end of the Cold War from 1989 to 1991, start with the earliest date. So in that case, it would have been 1989. So you would just start with in 1989 and you would explain what happened early on. If the question doesn't give you a date and you're stuck and you don't know how to start your answer, you can write in the beginning. So just those words in the beginning and then start your story, because that tends to be a question that students get a little bit stuck with. They just don't know what to do for their first sentence. So that's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. Then you need to remember to explain the links between each event of your story or each part of your story. And you do that by using your linking phrases such as this led to, as a result, because of this, this meant that. And when you do that, what you're doing is explaining how the bits of the story work together, what the consequences of events were and how they led to others. And that means you're using language that shows you're analysing the events. You're not just listing them, you're putting them into context. And that's what's going to get your higher marks. Remember, you've got to write about your events in chronological order, so date order. So you start with the earliest thing that happened, the first thing that happened, and you go down to the last thing that happened. Don't jumble that up because that will mean that you'll be capped. And then we come to the last part of your Cold War paper. You are going to have to explain the importance of an event for a situation. And when we're talking about importance of an event, what we're really talking about is how an event changes a situation. And you're going to have to do that twice. So common situations that you'll be asked about is explain the importance of an event for Cold War relations, or explain the importance of an event for the development of the Cold War, or explain the importance of an event for the relationship between the USA and the Soviet Union, or explain the importance of an event for superpower relations. All of those statements really mean the same thing. It means, how does an event change the Cold War, or how does an event change relationships? So the way that we would start an answer is by thinking, well, is this event important for the situation because it's made relations better and decreased tension, or has it made relations worse and increased tension? So that's how you start your answer. If you are asked a question about the importance of an event for any form of relations, whether that's Cold War relations, superpower relations, USA and Soviet Union, whatever that might be, either it's important because it's made relations better and decreased tension, or it's made relations worse and increased tension. And that will be your point, which you're then going to give examples to support that.